우리가 살고 있는 현재는 단계를 거쳐 진화하고 있다. 농경사회와 산업사회를 지나 도착한 정보화 사회. 우리가 꿈꾸는 미래는 과연 어떤 모습으로 또다시 진화할 것인가?
We call it the dream society of icons and aesthetic experience.
꿈과 감성의 미래. 마치 소설가가 이야기를 상상하듯 이제 기업들은 제품에 담을 꿈과 이야기를 그리고 있다.
If we just needed a mobile phone, we wouldn't have to pay as much. So we are paying a dream society price because it already has a story attached to it.
정보화 사회 그 이후를 두드리는 드림 소사이어티. 당신은 어떤 색깔로 미래를 그리고 있는가? 꿈의 사회, 미래를 리드하려는 기업들의 체온이 따뜻해지고 있다.
It's when you move from the rational, functional reasoning, the reasonable thing, the brain, then when you move to the heart. The complete human history, right from the beginning and far into some distant future. It says that Homo sapiens, our species, is about 100,000 years old. For the first 90,000 years we were hunter-gatherers. The next era we were farmers. The next one, the industrial era. And now it's about the information age, high-tech, computers, mobile phones. But then this is the future, the dream society, the experience economy. Here you appeal to the mind, to the brain, the rational, scientific era. This is the value-oriented, the emotional era where you appeal not to the brain, but to the heart. And as I see it, consumers today are standing with one foot in the rational age, but the other foot is here. But gradually they will move both feet over here. To illustrate it, here you have the rational mobile phone for business use, like they were 15 years ago. But today's mobile phone, it's a fashion thing with lifestyle, with colors, with design. So it is moving over here.
It focuses on the importance of image, of imagination, of creativity, of dreams. And so we call it the Dream Society of Icons and Aesthetic Experience. We will still have food and material and data information in a dream society, but most people will be spending their time not producing those things, but rather consuming them, so that simply by having that, I am now something special. Production of icons, of dreams, becomes the main thing that the economic system has to do. You still have to have good products, they still have to work, but the story in back of them, what it means to you, the identity of the user, becomes important in a dream society.
In my home country, Denmark, you can buy ordinary salt, and then you can buy salt with a story attached. They tell about how it is produced. In this small island, they produce this salt by cooking the seawater. And they describe the sound it says when the salt is produced. And please, it costs 10 times as much as ordinary salt. And it's a good example because salt is salt. It's natrium chlorides. And everybody knows that. Still, you're prepared to pay 10 times as much for the story. So it's technology plus storytelling. That's what gives the price. And the better the story, the higher the price. For 100,000 years, we have been striving to make, to get into a situation where we have food enough, shelter enough, where you have a safe life, access to education and what have you. These problems are solved for the majority of people in the rich part of the world. If you're going to write the world history in 10,000 years, the year 2000 will be important. Because after 100,000 years, you could say now the majority of people have enough, materialistically. So the next step, that will be the spiritual, the emotional developments.
So we really have lived in a situation for a short period of overall human history, but very powerful recently, where words were magical and pictures were considered to be either frivolous or dangerous. Writing makes us think in a linear way. One idea follows another idea like a train. So we sometimes use the phrase, a train of thought. And yet we still see, the world still comes at us all at once through our eyes and ears and other senses. So we are now moving through electronic technology in a way back to the earlier hunting and gathering society, where we now are able to communicate and have the environment, which could not happen in the hunting and gathering society, communicate with us in emotional, in audio-visual ways that were lost for that brief period of time that we were stuck in print. So I like to say the word is out. We aren't going to communicate things and be so frozen by the way the one-way word has frozen us before.
This is a new challenge, yes. And if you are afraid of feelings, then of course there's a problem. And if you still think, hey, it's just the technology, the best technology will win, then I think you have a problem. Yeah, but what is storytelling? Is it hot air? Does it mean anything? I think storytelling, story power, it really, you can seduce any consumer, provided the story is good, provided you believe in it yourself.
Samsung is moving away from simply producing products to consultancy and working with other companies. So it becomes, in a sense, more a consulting firm and less of a hardware producing firm. This has to be done very carefully, is to think about the production of icons and the production of stories, so that the important thing for Samsung itself and the contribution it might be able to make to others is in the area, indeed, of creativity and imagination and visions and dreams. I have a statement. I call it Dater's second law of the future. And that is that any useful idea about the future should appear to be ridiculous. But often the things that an organization needs to know are those things that cut right to the heart of what it thinks it knows or thinks of what it is. And so if Samsung has leadership, and more than leadership, if its personnel as a whole understand that and are encouraged themselves to come up with crazy ideas, knowing they won't be punished, even if they are really crazy ideas, you have to run that sort of a risk. And whether Samsung and Korea is willing or able to do that, I don't know. I hope so.
You could arrange what I call a heart storm instead of a brainstorm. Talking about why are we working, what do we want to accomplish, not talking about more profits, but talking about our ambitions, our dreams, and talking about the emotional aspects of the products, asking the consumers, more and more companies are asking the consumers to produce advertising, to help in product development, to help in storytelling, to become ambassadors of the products. I mean, it's not just about hiring creative people. It's becoming creative yourself, because everybody has got storytelling abilities. Maybe we have de-learned it a bit, but we have it inside. We have, all of us have a heart.
Samsung has tremendous reputation, it has resources, it has human resources. It would be the perfect place to start a honest dialogue about preferred futures, possible futures, alternative futures, because I think if we don't do that, we almost certainly will end up with a future that no one wants, that in a sense no one anticipated.
Nothing will continue forever. So when we are in a high peak, when we are in a profit-making moment, we'd better think about dramatic, negative time ahead of us.
So we need creativity just to evolve. If not, we will just copy the others, and we will have no true identity. I mean, as a human being.
Yeah, it doesn't just happen. You don't just wake up one morning and then the future's there. There are people out there creating it, and then there are people who are the recipients of the future, and then the people who are victims of it. And it's our choice